Hello, good people of YouTube. So today I want to talk about Maja's Substack article published on May 15th, 2026, titled How to Enter Side Doors. In this video, I want to break down exactly how to do that, as well as 5 different stories or strategies as to how to get any job without applying. So first, let's start with the front door. If you think about careers as houses, we're all familiar about how to enter a house through the front door. Applying online through applications on a job board, really crossing your fingers that a real human being reads your application, notices how brilliant you are, and invites you for an interview. The problem with the front door approach is that it is so crowded. You have all of these Ivy Leaguer, these Stanford PhDs who cured cancer applying at the same time and through the same channels that you are. And that's why you see all these memes about people sending out 100, 1,000 applications without hearing anything back. Here's the kicker. You're not getting a call back because you're not talented. The system itself, in Maja's words, is lossy, saturated, and kind of bad at detecting real human signal. A company posts one job opening, gets hundreds, sometimes thousands of applications that flood in, and these are all increasingly polished by AI. From the company side, they're squinting at a stack of identical cover letters, resumes. They're trying to guess like who of these folks can actually solve the problems that are internal to their company. Before we even get into the side doors, we got to talk about what even is a job. A job is not a thing. A job is a bundle of problems that someone wants solved badly enough that they will pay someone else to solve it for them. Maja borrows from this article titled How to Walk Through Walls, where it mentions that the economy isn't like just this list of openings, it's billions of people trying to solve real problems. So getting a job essentially just means finding someone who has a problem and then convincing them that you are the person who is fit to solve those problems for them. So once you start seeing companies in this way, the world just gets bigger. A company isn't just this careers page, it's a group of maybe tired, ambitious, overextended humans trying to make something happen with budgets that they have. Okay, so 2 things. There are 2 types of problems. So one are obvious problems within a company that become job posts, well-defined, well-scoped out roles. The second are more illegible, murky problems that haven't been really scoped out or defined yet. So the second category is where the side doors method of applying and getting a job, getting a job comes into play. Instead of asking what jobs are available, maybe you can get into the framework of asking whose work do I really care about? Where are they stuck? What could I do or learn to do that would be useful to this person or company? Who would be genuinely relieved that I showed up and offered my services and value? Okay, so here comes side doors, which can be broken up into inbound and outbound. So the outbound portion of this is you go out into the world, you reach out to someone, maybe a founder, a CEO, hiring manager, whatever. You find someone who you admire. You ask this employee, what problems are you solving or working through? You send some sort of memo, prototype, analysis, some artifact that makes it easy for someone to imagine working with you. And the key phrase here is that you don't wait for permission for someone to notice where you might be most useful. You're more proactive in that sense. Then we get into the inbound piece of it. So the world comes to you. This is where you make your signal visible enough that people can actually find you, namely on the internet. So you write in public, you build in public, things such as essays, maybe small tools, data sets, videos, experiments. These are artifacts that enable people to see into your mind and how you think. And the best careers usually combine both of these. So you go out into the world with some specificity. You say, hey, I'm valuable in this way. Look at this PowerPoint essay, whatever that I created. And then someone becomes someone who will hire you to solve those problems at their company. Story time. I'm going to share 5 stories in rapid succession. Story number 1 about the unhinged email. So when Maja was 18 years old, she got her first growth consulting job by sending a long, earnest, and in her words, probably objectively unhinged email to CEO of Calm, you know, that meditation app that we've all seen ads for all across social media. She told him, hey dude, I love your product. I've grown really big on Instagram. I have these ideas. Can we work together? The CEO replied, yeah, sure. Just like send me a picture, proof of concept. And they ended up working together on Calm, which is really cool. She's really clear that she does not want to be responsible for deranged inbox behavior. And she also makes it clear that her email worked because it was very specific. It contained proof of the things that she's done, and it made her interests very legible. She didn't say something, very vague, like, I'm super passionate about wellness. She just said, I see what you're building. I understand this specific corner of the internet. Here are my ideas. Here's my evidence. So number 2 is about the internship that didn't exist that Maja pitched herself into. At Swin University, Maja really wanted to work at Blackbird Foundation, specifically with this one person called Joe. One problem is that Blackbird does not take any interns. They've literally never hired an intern in their entire history. So she sent Joel, who now head of the Blackbird Foundation, a cold LinkedIn message asking for an internship there. Joel replied, and a couple months later, she was interning there. Now, this is the really weird thing about side doors. Maybe from the outside, they look like blind luck. Like they look like someone just got really lucky. But from the inside, they might feel like a moment of unreasonable specificity, like sending a hyper-specific email, sending a hyper-specific cold outreach. The door did not officially exist until someone just tried that handle. So number 3, this one is about the inbound piece. So Maja's friend Jay published an essay on taste, and this was sent on his Substack as well as their LinkedIn. The CEO of Eucalyptus saw this, commented on Jay's post, and they got coffee. And eventually Jay got hired off of this essay. A really cool thing about publishing things online is that your work can travel ahead of you to places and corners of the internet you might not even know about. An essay is like this little ambassador or ship for you, for your mind, for your ideas. They can enter rooms you don't even have access to yet necessarily while you're asleep. Story number 4 is about the guide to latent space. So back in the early days of image models, this guy named Ethan was doing AI research from his college bedroom, sharing what he learned on both Twitter and also hobbyist discords. He published this Notion guide titled The Traveler's Guide to Latent Space to help others navigate the same field that he was in. Then one day he gets a Discord message from some rando in Australia asking him to become the technical co-founder of Leonardo.ai. This startup was later acquired by Canva, the Canva that we all use to create cool marketing and visual components. Obviously, post online and get acquired by Canva is not the advice that Maja or I am giving you, but the real lesson is when you're genuinely close to a problem, your work becomes this beacon for a small set of people who are tuned to the same frequency, who want this problem solved and are interested in what you have to say. Okay, last really quick story is about Julia. So Julia made a viral video of herself asking Shopify for an internship. They had 0 internships open, and yet it worked. Julia was able to work at Shopify. Now, how can we do this side door thing without being super annoying? I think that the first thing is really honing in on specificity. So you don't want to just say, hey, I admire your company, can we chat? And just the same generic email or message to 50 people. That will absolutely not work. Your messages always have to be grounded in 3 core things. So 1 is generosity. You always have to be offering something, not just extracting. 2 is specificity. So you have to look and kind of be obsessed about what they're building, or at least make it seem that way. Maja has this great line where specificity is one of the highest forms of respect. And in a market drowning in generic AI applications, specificity itself becomes signal. Number 3 is proof. The small useful artifact like an essay, a video that demonstrates your thinking. This is an undeniable unit of signal that someone can use to see what it would be like working with you. Okay, going through side doors, sending out these messages will not guarantee that you won't get rejected. You most definitely will get rejected. Some doors just won't open. People are busy. They lead very tired lives. You might not get a reply 90%, 99% of the time. This is just true. But here's why this approach still matters. You're no longer just refreshing job boards, hoping and wishing that, someone will notice how brilliant you are and hire you. You're actively learning the terrain. you're making things, you're talking to real human beings, you're discovering like which part of the world responds to you on the things that you're putting out there. And this is super useful information, even if it doesn't initially convert to a job. The economy is not made of hiring portals. It's made of people who are confused, busy, kind people with problems and budgets and want someone to take these problems on at full force. All you need is just that one person who reads your essay, replies to your email, invents a role, and opens a side door and says, yes, come in. Let's see. If someone takes that bet on you, honor it. Do the work, become worthy of the love. And when it's your turn, open that side door for somebody else. The world is dazzlingly big. There isn't just one side door, there are many. I'll drop a link to Maja's full Substack article in the description. It's generally worth the read, and I believe she has a follow-up coming sometime soon. So if this video opened your mind, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Right? Ciao, ciao.